All right, the New York Mets are red hot to start the season, sitting comfy in first place in the National League East with the best record in baseball. False hope, April is upon us. So let's see how long that lasts. Welcome to the Mets Weekly Roundtable.
This is Frank Cugino from Frank About Sports.
What's going on, guys? Andrew Acevedo back.
What's going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden is the name.
What is going on, everybody? This is Metsfan from YouTube.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm TonyMetro.
Big Apple Banter Media here with Elias. That's weekly.
Mets Weekly.
Mets Weekly.
Mets Weekly.
Mets Weekly.
Welcome to Mets Weekly. Andrew, who are you? Go.
I am a Rhino who does post games and news and kind of does any other news. Videos probably aren't going to come until probably the deadline season, but mostly just post games. If the Mets make a trade, trading a Dom Smith or JD Davis, they'll get their own videos, but pretty much it. Just a Rhino.
All right, Frank About Sports.
We have a very similar format, streams, occasional videos, things like that. Like I said, there's breaking news. Usually like to do videos of stuff like that, but who knows? I would like to do some other stuff in between, but we'll see how it goes. Let's go, Mets.
All right, Mets Talk with Hayden.
What's going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden is the name. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Been doing a lot of live streams these last couple days. Feel free to check me out, and let's go, Mets.
All right, last but not least, Elias from Big Apple Banter Media.
What's good, everyone? Elias from Big Apple Banter Media here. Kind of recappy videos. Try to have like a April report card like what I used to do on the live show way back when. Might do some Jets draft stuff, so keep your eye out for that. Go check out the channel. Would appreciate it.
Okay, well, y'all know the drill by now, but I have to say it for the new viewers who come in every single week. Make sure to subscribe to the Mets Weekly channel. Put on those post notifications to never miss our live roundtable show every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure to follow all of us individually. The links are in the description. So,
drop a like. Did you get that one?
Drop a like too. Share the stream. You can do tons of things.
Any questions? Leave them in the chat, and we get to them later.
As well.
There you go.
Yep. Okay. Just making sure that all of this is all good. Okay. Anyways, let's start off with the previous series that we just finished up a few hours ago. The Mets took 3 out of 4 from the San Francisco Giants, who won 107 games last year. Main takeaways, put it out all on the table. I'll start with Mets Talk with Hayden. Main takeaways from the Mets-Giants series overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really impressive that you were able to take 3 out of 4 games from a team that won 107 games last year. I know, the first 3 series, it was against the Philadelphia Phillies team with dead offense at the moment. The Nationals and the Diamondbacks. So, maybe that's not the biggest challenge. But, hey, good teams are supposed to beat up on the bad teams. That's the point. And I think the San Francisco Giants series was really, I get it. It's April. But I think it was a big deciding factor on, how eligible is this team ready to compete early on. And they looked good. I mean, their pitching was really on point. Unfortunate some guys, McNeil definitely, didn't have one of his best outings compared to his first 2. But overall, the pitching really held up. The bullpen was phenomenal. I think I said, what was it? Last 14 innings, they've shut out opposing batters. So that's been something. The bullpen was really strong this past series. Obviously, the offense was huge. I mean, we saw so much production, fundamental hitting, and just speed on the base pass with 2 outs, and that's going to be huge for this team. So phenomenal series against this Giants team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they have really good pitching. I mean, this is a team that besides the Mets, have a top tier rotation. So phenomenal series. Very impressed. Taking 3 out of 4. That's what I like to see. I was hoping for a split, but hey, they made me happier. Lindor looked phenomenal. McNeil looked good. Who else did we have? Good to see Marcana and Brandon Nimmo back. Alonso got a couple hits. So just overall, really great series overall. Besides James McCann, I'm officially joining Carson with the James McCann hate wagon. Yeah.
All right. Listen, more the merrier on that boat. Andrew, what do you got to say from this entire series? Put it out on the table.
And that's a great way because I feel like Lenny Dykstra right now because the Mets are walking around like they got to finish the line for the PG audience. I'll let the people who know that rest of that, so I'll keep it PG. Bullpen. Everyone was, oh my God, what bullpen? Oh my God. It's almost like when you don't pitch Sean Reed-Foley 5 innings and you use Joely Rodriguez correctly. Look what happens. The bullpen's great. Edwin Diaz, the stuff lord that is Drew Smith's elite. And obviously now you're getting the rotation. Now you're starting to see the rotation going 6, now 7 innings. So that's giving less pressure on the bullpens with Carrasco going 7, Scherzer going 7, and then Bassett and McGill, who didn't have their best stuff, but still found a way to grind out 6 innings to save the bullpen. Offensively, again, Lindor, McNeil's, looked better, had some clutch hits. Obviously, Lindor's hitting homers everywhere. It's good to see the offense. And again, beating one of the best teams in the league. With, again, you had your guys lined up. You had your 3 best guys right now in Scherzer, McGill, and Bassett lined up. You won 2 out of 3 of those starts, and Carlos Carrasco continues to look like the Carlos Carrasco we were supposed to get in Cleveland. So, beat up Logan Webb, which I don't think any team has really done that to Logan Webb. And to be the first team to kind of say, hey, they kind of beat the hell out of Logan Webb, something to impress. The bullpen was great. Offense was good. Pitching rotation was good. It's a good statement series. Like you're walking around like you got a foot long down there.
Yeah. Elias, takeaways from the Mets-Giants series.
Linsanity is back, and I ain't talking Jeremy Lin. I'm talking Francisco Lindor. Dude is on fire. This is the player we were hoping we were getting last year. And not only is he playing well, his teammate or former teammate and trade partner, being Carlos Carrasco, is also playing well. Overall, it's not just the series, in the whole season overall. A lot of questions have been answered. We had a lot of guys we were had, like I said, question marks about, that being Lindor, Carrasco are playing better to expectation. Just like Hayden, I'm joining the anti-James McCann club, if that's a thing. He's fucking terrible. Not too many takeaways. We just played a great team and took 3 of 4. Like, if you're not happy about that, I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Frank, I know there's been some criticism. A lot. You have been very negative, like the most negative person I've ever met. I'm just fucking with him. Go ahead. Mets Giants.
Meanwhile, before it gets taken out of context, in the stream, was it last night in Andrew's stream, I was talking positive about the Mets and Carson was shooting me down. So, no, sorry, 2 nights ago. My mistake, 2 nights ago. So let's just get that straight out of the way, first of all. Second of all, I think the main takeaway is that going into this series, the Mets and Giants were number 1 and 2 pitching teams, especially starting pitching. And the Mets were able to win this series, and they did it without their best pitcher. The fact that they are literally going toe-to-toe and have one of the number-ranked pitching staffs without the best pitcher in baseball, I think that's really good to see. Like you said, seeing these other guys step up. Max Scherzer looked a lot more like Max Scherzer in this start compared to his previous 2. He had that no-hitter going for a little bit. Miguel and Bassett, they got roughed up early, but then they kind of settled down. It's not like where Garrett Cole gets knocked out in the 2nd inning. At least you still got length from these guys. They still went to 6 innings, things like that. And then Carrasco really was phenomenal again. And to see him retire, was it 18 batters in a row? That was awesome. So I was really glad to see that. And then the bullpen was able to hold on to it, not wasted, so to speak. The fact that, you don't want to have a great rotation, then your bullpen falters. But I really like what they did with Joey Rodriguez today. Face 1 batter, get him out. That's it. Like Andrew said, use these guys correctly. Put them in the right positions. Don't put Trevor Williams in with guys on base. So, put everybody in the best positions to succeed, and you have a lot more success. Same for Sharwade Foley. You're behind. Use them for 2 innings. Save your bullpen. Don't use your best relievers in a game you're losing. The little things like that throughout the course of the season can make a big difference. So I definitely like the use of the bullpen is much improved from the first week when we were all complaining about it.
Man, those poor kids. Garrett Cole is going to get them MacBooks, and I don't know if y'all saw that. I know all you guys.
That Twitter account is.
And someone fell for it. A broadcast fell for it. You saw that? Yeah.
They always do. They absolutely always do. Yeah. Tricking old people. It's just something
It's
that you
great.
like to do.
Crime.
But overall, yeah, we looked fantastic. Obviously, you're not going to be completely perfect. Bassett got roughed up a little bit. McGill got roughed up a little bit, but they came through and they won 3 out of 4 from a team that they probably would not have beaten at all last year. So, and they didn't beat at all.
I think they're being one.
My takeaways here, I'd say the Giants do not scare me at all. The amount of dumbass hits that this team gets is like unreal. I'm not moved at all. It was great to see Wilmer again, even though he did kind of ruin our rally yesterday. But I'm not intimidated. I mean, bring on the Dodgers, bring on whatever team. I'm not intimidated. This team is going to be the greatest team to ever play. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. But now that we're getting false hope out of the way, let's get into individual performances and talk about Francisco Lindor. Unless anybody else wants to add anything from this series, because it's a 4-game set, so there's a lot to unpack. If anybody wants to say anything else, we'll move on to Francisco Lindor. Nope, we all good? Okay. Sip of caffeine, and we're ready to go. All right. Francisco Lindor has started off the season as the Lindor that we traded for last year. Slashing 308, 419, 615 with an OPS plus of 204 and a WRC plus of 201 in 62 plate appearances. Yes, listen, I know that this is a small sample, but you know what? Anyways, let's travel back to 2005. Another certain switch hitting Puerto Rican player underperformed in his first year with the Mets. Then he followed it up with an MVP caliber season in 2006, where I and many Mets fans, we think that he probably should have won that award, but that's a different scenario for another day. But Lindor, is he in line to do the same thing? In the first year of his contract, will he emulate that cheating bastard from 2017?
So zero
Listen,
loss
I said something
manager,
nice.
man.
I had something bad. We'll start with and listen, I know that these stats are from after last night's game. Don't be that guy. Just because you're accurate doesn't make you interesting. All right. Elias, I'll start with you. Do you think that he could emulate this Beltran year from 06?
I mean, yeah, when you look at the idea that Beltran had a shitty first year in New York, Lindor had a shitty first year in New York, and then they absolutely bounced back and became the player that we traded for. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the exact same numbers, but you could have that similar storyline. So many people are telling me, oh, Lindor's not good. Why?
I think your mic went out, Elias. Unless I'm not hearing him. It went out.
Yeah, I lost
Yeah,
it.
it's still out. Oh,
Is this good?
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I just unplugged
going.
everything, plugged back in. What was I saying? Yeah, a lot of people are telling me Lindor sucks, yada, yada, yada. Mets ruin everybody. Said just wait for year 2. The same thing will happen with Carlos Beltran. So do I think Lindor could be in the MVP conversation? For sure. He has it in his, in his earlier in his career with Cleveland. I guess last year was a bit concerning, just the fact that he was coming off kind of 2 down years. I know 2019 was an all-star. But wasn't like the Lindor that of 2015 or 2016, those years where he was in that MVP conversation. But I don't think he's going to keep up like 1,000+ OPS all year. But I think he's going to have a really good season and live up to that contract.
All right, Hayden, you've been one of Lindor's biggest critics. I know that. If it's not obvious before, is it possible that he could emulate that Beltran second year in 06?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, anything's possible. I mean, if you have to look at Lindor, I mean, it's good that he's coming off of a good start. I mean, if you look at his stats from a year ago today, April 21st, they look nothing like what they did now. Lindor just looks he looks like a different player at the plate. I mean, his swing is much tighter. He looks much more relaxed at the plate. He's not, swinging at all these random pitches, I guess. He's not striking out as much. That was really his issue last year. He's not pulling the ball to the, the right-hand side at first base as much. So I'd say he's looking good. I mean, he's putting the ball in play. He's going up the middle. He's hitting for some power. I mean, 4 home runs now is phenomenal. I saw a stat that said since September 15th, he has a total of 10 home runs since then. So that's really good. I mean, I know Lindor definitely heated up a little bit in September. Maybe not to the extent of what he's playing now, but he's been looking good. Definitely coming into clutch and helping this offense out. Obviously, that walk-off was a good moment for him. He needed that moment. And I think, honestly, a lot of the issues he had last year, I'm hoping that's water under the bridge, whether that's social issues with guys in the clubhouse or his issues on the field. And I think that's should hopefully be resolved. I don't think he's going to finish the season, with the 181 WRC plus or, over 1,000 OPS or anything like that. But I definitely think he can finish the season with hopefully he could finish with somewhat of all-star stats.
Okay. Well, Andrew, would you like to push the narrative even more? Go ahead.
I mean, I've been saying it since the offseason. I said it in hot takes. I said he's going to win the MVP, and y'all threw water on my raging Rhino take. But now, early season, it's looking great. Obviously, the numbers that Beltran put up, can he put up similar numbers? Of course. The biggest thing that we want the correlation is win the division. Be the main factor to right now they're doing well, continue to play well, and run away like Beltran did. But also he had help, and he does have help now. He has Lucas Duda behind him. He's got Eduardo Escobar. He's got Mark Canha. He's got his guys who Starling Marte and Nimmo ahead of him. So now he has a team. Last year was really just him and Duda. That was it. Now you have him with other offensive production, with Marte, with Canha, with Escobar. Now he doesn't have to be the only guy. And I think they're going to add somebody else at the deadline. So that takes even more pressure off of him. So right now, he could just be the main contributing factor right now early. But I feel if he can do what Beltran did, it just be the main catalyst when we need you to show up, come up with the big hits, game tying, game winnings, walk off. And he's done it early in the season. Will he continue it? We'll see. Is he going to get cold? Of course. That's every hitter. Like everybody said, he's not going to have a 1,000 OPS. If he can give me an 850 to 900 OPS, still hit 30 homers, 40 doubles, the defense, tighten up the defense early. Maybe it's just early. The weather's cold. He's losing the grip on the ball for a couple of throwing errors. But again, just be productive. And when we need you to come through, come through. If it's not like the second inning and he got bases loaded, okay, come up. But if you come up in the 8th inning and the 9th inning, we really need you to get a hit, and he comes up then, that's where we need him to be. So, Lindor, when do we start the Lindor MVP shirts? Because that's a good merch opportunity.
All-Star break.
I think he's already won it, but no. But I was just upset that the on-base streak ended last night. That was kind of upsetting, but it's whatever. So, Frank, as one of the biggest Beltran haters, you were you were there to experience 06. All right, we won't talk about how it ended yet, but what do you think? Is it possible? Do you think he'll do it?
I sure hope so. I think it would be great if he does. But, I mean, like Andrew said, getting the walk-off hit last night, that was a good start because that was one of the things that Beltran did on 06. He did have plenty of walk-offs to help the Mets win games late. And that's what you get paid the big money for, so to speak, if you want to put it that way. You pay those money, you got to come through when it matters most. Don't be a Lucas Duda, so to speak, and just get the hits when it doesn't matter. So that was good to see. But what I like is that I'm seeing a lot of just every at-bat. Most of the time, it's just a quality at bat. Even if he doesn't get on, he worked the count. He's not chasing too much. He's not over swinging as much. I don't see him falling to the knee. He's going opposite field a little more. So I swear you're seeing like these little signs here and there and he just, to me, he just looks more relaxed in general. And I feel like that kind of translates. You're seeing him interact with the other teammates again, kind of like he did in the first half. And it wasn't playing well. At least he's interacting with everybody, not just one guy in the corner like he did in the second half. So I think another thing like that, when you're asked to be a leader of the team, that's really good to see. Obviously, the defense is still there. He swiped a few bags already. He's hustling, getting some hustle doubles, which I love to see. I think, you know what? If you hustle, that'll go a long way with trying to get over with the New York crowd, not have them boo you as much. So, and I said, I don't know which one it was, but him getting off to this start is so, so important because let's say he got off to a bad start and then had this stretch. I don't know if he would even have got to it because he would have got booed so bad. And I feel like the flashbacks would have kind of got to him. But getting off to a good start, having the crowd with you from the beginning could make a really big difference in how things go. So like we said, we know it's going to come down to earth. I hope it's not too harsh. I hope it's not like a big slump. Like even if you have a little slump, okay, that happens to everybody, but just keep doing what you're doing for the most part and just be the guy we know you can. I mean, we're not asking you to be, this guy that you've never been before. Just be pretty close to what you were in Cleveland, and the rest of things will work itself out. So I hope he could do it. I don't want to. I'm trying my best not to overreact to just one hot stretch. As much as I would love to be like, oh my God, he's here, he's doing it. I don't want to overreact. So hopefully he keeps it up.
All right. Well, we've talked about going back to some old Mets Weekly days. Well, if you go back to way back, because we've done fucking 51 of these things. So, I said that Lindor's contract will only be 100% worth it if he wins the NL MVP. Now, listen, we've had this discussion before. Lindor isn't an MVP caliber hitter, but he's an MVP caliber player. So now you compare Beltran's 05 and Lindor's 2021, you see some similarities, and Lindor is a better player all time than Beltran. Don't give me that look. But anyways, so, can Lindor win an award that, Beltran wasn't clutch enough to do in 06? He might. I mean, all I'm saying is that when it comes down to the wire, it's Lindor with a swing and a drive compared to strike three called and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to the World Series. All right. Anything else we want to move on with Lindor? Any other notes that we have? Trolling aside, he looked fantastic. But anything else?
I don't think he'll be better than Beltran as a manager because losing 0 games, man, it's impressive.
I think Buck already cleared him. What do you think?
Man, Buck's lost a game.
Buck has lost a game. But the impact was shown last night. They did lose without him. So, but anyways, along with Lindor, Jeff McNeil has looked very good as well. He is currently slashing .283, .365, .391 with a OPS plus of 133 and a WRC plus of 130 in 52 plate appearances. Maybe early in the season, but you know what? Let's put the cards out on the table. Is Jeff McNeil officially back? Is Jeff McNeil back to his all-star form in 2019? Not the second half Jeff McNeil, but the Jeff McNeil we saw in 2019, the pure hitter. I'll go to one of his biggest fans in the world, Andrew Acevedo. What's the deal? Is he back?
He's a ball player. That's what he is. I'm not going to call him back, but I'm not going to call him he sucks. He's scrappy. He's back to scrappy McNeil. I'm not going to put the all-star banner back. I'll say he's looked good. He's looked good. Obviously, yeah, it's a AA fight. Yeah, good to see that. Oh, fun to see that. No, it's not. But again, McNeil, is he back? You know what? We're in a giving mood. We're in a happy mood. We just whooped the Giants' ass. I'll say he's back. So when 2 weeks from now, when he's going 0 for 9 and flipping his bat, I can look back and say I was wrong. But I'll give him he's back. He's looked good. He's going the other way. He's back to being what a 2018 McNeil, just flicking balls to the opposite field. They're shifting him more. So now he's giving what the defense is, he's taking what the defense is giving him, that's what I want Jeff McNeil to be. Am I going to call him, again, back to being officially Jeff McNeil? No. Because, again, James McCann will still have a higher WRC plus. Just give it time. And so I'll say he's back for now. He's productive. He's not – I haven't seen a tantrum yet, even though he yelled at the humidifier today, rounding third, because he thought he had a homer. Where I was like, damn humidifier, whatever the hell. I think Tim said it on Twitter. He's something about the ball not getting out of the fence. Who really cares? But I'll give it that. I'll be nice. He's looked good. He looks like a competent ball player. Still trading for Ketel Marte at the deadline to troll Frank.
Absolutely. Frank, Jeff McNeil, how has he looked?
He's looked better than he did last year. Let's just leave it at that. He's looked better than he looked last year, which really is all we could ask for because we were ready to ship him out, send him to all these different countries, all these different teams because he's not good anymore and Lindor hates him and all these other things. He's not – I don't think he's 2018 McNeil yet. I don't think he's first half 2019 McNeil yet, but he's getting closer. I still think he needs to go the other way a little more. Like Andrew said, they are shifting him. And I think you don't shift 2018, 2019 Jeff McNeil. You know better because he was going to take advantage of that. He was doing it a little bit. I think earlier in the season he was like kind of doing those little half swings, which I love. I haven't seen it quite as much, but he definitely looks better. And again, just keep doing what you're doing. And he definitely looks improved. I will say I'm glad that his strikeout rate is still really, really good. I think that's always extremely important with McNeil. As long as he keeps doing that, he keeps putting the ball in play. He's another guy that I feel like he's not chasing as much. He's taking his walks a little bit more every now and then. So all those are just really positive signs. And similar to Lindor, looks a little more relaxed. Like Andrew said, not as many temper tantrums. Because, I mean, like I said, we were getting to the point last year where McNeil was throwing temper tantrums during the at-bat. I mean, if this guy had a hard-hit foul ball, he was already ready to give up. So I think the fact that we're seeing him a little more calmer, I think is also a good sign. I wonder how much Buck has to do with that. And maybe Eric Chavez is involved in there a little bit as well. And I just think and another good thing about Jeff McNeil, we're talking so much about the offense, but how about this guy? He's played second base, played it fine. He played left field, been fine out there. And even the ninth inning, he played third base last night. Luckily, nothing was hit to him, but still, at least he's showing us that versatility, which you can never take for granted. It's always good to have a guy that can move around a little bit. So I think seeing things like that is also really encouraging as well.
Here's what I like, just off the top of my head. 12.4 whiff rate. That's a career low. I doubt he's going to keep that up. But Jeff McNeil, bat on ball, put the ball in play. That's his thing, and he's doing it. So that's what I like to see. Hayden, is McNeil back to the 2019 form? Is he Jeff McNeil again?
Well, this is what I say. If I'm not the biggest Pete Alonso fan, it's probably safe to say Jeff McNeil would be that hardcore number two. Yeah, I mean, McNeil has been looking really impressive these last 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, he's not going to get barrels. He's not going to hit for power. But he is showing signs, and he's looked phenomenal to that older 2018, 2019 self, where he has an 0-2 count, and he'll just flick the ball to the left-hand side, drop a bunt down the third base line, or, flick a little Babbitt into shallow left center. And we've been seeing some of that. Like you said, the walk rate is something there. He really got rid of that launch angle, high strikeout nonsense swing. We've definitely been seeing him take one or two of those swings, and that's all right. I mean, I definitely think he arguably almost was robbed today. I think if that was a 2019 ball, that would have been out of here, no doubt about that. But McNeil has been looking really good, and I've advocated on my channel and on these streams that I think McNeil is going to be a really good player this year. I could see him being an all-star caliber player. I mean, very impressive. Whether it's the 130 OPS plus, I mean, he has been looking pretty good. And like you said, defensively, I mean, the versatility, like Frank said, is huge. We've been seeing him play a lot of time in left and a lot of time at second because, they want to give defensive Diorme some time at second, whatever. I'm not going to make a whole case out of that, but who knows? Maybe McNeil, has his best fit in a utility role. I mean, I couldn't really think of that as a reasoning or really have any arguments to that, but who knows? Maybe he is at his best when that happens. And obviously, yeah, I mean, he's not, cursing or getting triggered. Today he was, dropping in F-bombs and got a little triggered over the ball not leaving the ballpark, but what are you going to do? But yeah, really interesting for McNeil. And yeah, I think as of right now, he is showing signs to be back to that 2019, 2018, and arguably 2020 Jeff McNeil. Just, keep doing what you're doing. That's all I ask. Get on base, put the ball in play. I can care less about the baseball savant, barrel percentage. Doesn't apply to him. So keep doing what you're doing, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, they like analytics still like him. I will give you that because he's more line drive than ground ball. So that's pretty much his thing. So, Elias, what's going on with McNeil? Is he back? Is he Jeff McNeil again?
So I don't know if I would consider him like all-star form back. He could be an all-star this year. That's not only just him, it's also because second base is generally somewhat of a weak position in MLB. I don't know if you know any other second baseman top of my head having really good years so far, but I wouldn't say all-star, but he definitely plays like he has an identity again. Last year we saw him kind of like Hayden said, the weird launch angle, uppercut swing, trying to hit for power. That's not really his game. That's not his game. Shouldn't be that. I know, you question whether he has a higher ceiling compared to other guys who are going to hit for power, but I think on this team, his role should be that average hitter, like Frank said, with the half swing, with the being the shift. I love stuff like that. Just finding a way to get on by using the bat. He has an identity again. I know, Carson, you said a lot of stuff about how he looked lost last year in his approach and whatnot, and you're not wrong, definitely. And I definitely thought he could come back, be a better player as he was last year. You question whether or not he has as high of a ceiling as another guy. That's why a lot of Met fans consider bringing back Javier Baez. Of course, we lost him to Detroit. But McNeil, he's having a good year. And his play style can last most of the year. Just don't change up that approach. I don't know if it's a new staff, new manager. That's helping him out a lot. Like you said, less temper tantrums. It's always good. At first, when he started doing that stuff, I didn't really make too big of a deal of it because he was playing well. When you play like shit and you lose your shit, it's not the best look. So Jeff McNeil, I wouldn't say he's back to all-star form, but he's back to being the good player that he is. And love his, like Frank said, I love his versatility. I think we underutilized that a bit last year, again, playing second, some left field. Third base, not so much. He struggles making throws over at third base, but in emergency role, man, why not? But yeah, mainly second base, left field. Of course, we always talked about before this year who our fourth outfielder is going to be. That obviously became Travis Janikowski. He's actually been a pretty decent player, but Jeff McNeil is definitely an option if you have any guys go down out there.
Yeah. As for the temper tantrums, I think, you get mad, but he's 30 years old now. So, It's enough with it. There's only one 30-year-old guy who does that for a living. His name is Sidney Crosby. Anyways. The dude's a bitch. Stop it. The guy's a bitch. Stop it. All right. I've been critical of McNeil. I'll say it. But he looks good. I will say he does look good. All-star form, can't really tell yet. There's still few tweaks that I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? But no, he's looked fantastic. I need to see him running out of the box while he's still got the bat in him, doing those little roughhouse little slaps and those crazy little looking swings or whatever, and putting just anything to put the ball in play. Put the bat on the ball. Just be a complete nuisance. That's all I ask. Even though Luis Guillorme does that better, but it's just a different thing. Big Feeble is right. But yeah, other than that, he's looked good. Has he looked great? I don't know, but he's not Javi, so I don't care. Anything else on
he's not hurt.
Jeff McNeil? Oh yeah, Javi's hurt.
Javi's hurt right now, right?
Yeah, because he actually has balls to do things.
That's a decent start.
Anything else on Jeff McNeil you want to add? Because it's been a long ride for him since that.
I'll just say number one is going to take a little while getting used to. It's still kind of weird. It doesn't seem like kind of his number, but he said he likes it already.
I'm used to it already.
To
be honest, it got him a Rolex watch, and when I heard that was when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm kind of used to this now. All right,
that was his reward for Marte.
Yeah, Marte gave him a Rolex, and I was like, okay, well, that sounds like something Curtis Granderson will do. So I'm like, okay, feeling comfortable. All right, but other
VR wore number one last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I do want to put this up here before we get into something else. This is interesting. The MLB said that it is likely to expand in 3 to 5 years. Where should they expand to? Let's throw out some names. I think Korea's a good one. Now, other than that,
Vegas.
Vegas is the obvious
Vegas.
one.
I
I
think they're
think-
just gonna move the A's there.
Yeah,
They should
Yeah,
just move the
They
A's
better.
there.
No one's
they
going now.
should. Yeah.
My
I hope
my
they do.
first, ever video on YouTube was 5 expansion.
remember that.
Yep.
And yeah, it was pretty crappily recorded, but hey, it got me over 1,000 views. So I'm guessing everyone liked it.
Nice.
I had Buffalo, Las Vegas, Portland, Montreal, and I couldn't tell you the fifth one. It was like 2 years ago, but there was a fifth one. Buffalo would be an interesting spot. I get it. You know, it's freezing there. I mean, Elias lives in you live in Rochester. I'm sure you could agree.
I was gonna say selfishly, I'm gonna choose Buffalo just because I live close to there, and you could say, well, the Buffalo Bills have such a crazy fan base. You wonder if it's gonna be much of a baseball town. They have the Bison there, the AAA team for the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
played
that
a
was
bit
why I was
there.
thinking just make
I
the
like that.
Bison an MLB team.
and when it comes to
Buffalo
the
Bison.
and when
You
it
gotta
comes,
expand the stadium
cold,
a bit. But
Minnesota handles it, so why can't Buffalo handle it? I mean, whether they have a retractable roof or
a roof, yeah.
they have passionate fans. I mean, we've seen the Bills.
Charlotte is Charlotte Knights, right? Charlotte's got the Charlotte
Yep,
Knights.
White
So
Sox
yeah, you
could
also have to
play.
put
Yep.
the minor league teams also into consideration too.
And I don't think that's that
Um,
big of a deal. Like, there's plenty of middle of nowhere towns and cities and
Yeah.
whatnot throughout the country that could sport a minor league team. Or the MLB's been talking about, like, they've cut down on a bunch of minor league clubs, so you can make
Yeah.
a major league club there.
It
I
could
think
be one of those cities, yeah, that they put that in.
The only thing that's interesting is that if you're actually expanding and not moving teams, is that you just have to figure out, okay, well, how are you going to put together a fair roster? How are you going to balance out the divisions? Because don't forget, I mean, not too long ago, we had, the AL West had 4 teams and the NL Central had 6, and that's when the Astros moved over. So I think trying to balance things like that is also going to be interesting.
I mean, obviously, every team's got to, give up a few players or whatever. Obviously, 3 to 5 years or whatever. Cano's contract will expire, so that gives us no advantage.
They can have them.
They can have him.
Probably
I mean,
give up.
fucking. I mean, anyone can have him. Anybody wants him, he's all yours.
How about Tennessee?
Las Vegas, Portland, Montreal.
I
don't know if they're gonna go back
Nashville,
to that, but
Tennessee, yeah.
the fifth one I had.
Montreal, no. I know people say Montreal. They had a team. It didn't work out.
I mean, the Oklahoma
Yeah,
City
yeah.
Thunder, but they were good, sold out.
And
in
they have the Dodge.
basketball,
Right now they have the
so-
Dodge.
They had hard run.
So,
If you looked at this Mets one, that was something else.
Well, you got one in the Bronx, one in Queens.
Put a
Maybe
major
add
league team
another
in Brooklyn.
borough. I mean,
Put it in Brooklyn.
like a
Brooklyn. Oh my god.
Manhattan, there's legit there's nowhere to put.
yeah,
Yeah,
Manhattan. You can't put a
Yeah,
baseball.
you can't put a
Um,
stadium.
You could talk like
Manhattan's a basketball town.
Yeah, exactly.
Binghamton, Syracuse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's
Brooklyn,
it.
I lived in Brooklyn. Baseball is huge there.
Mm.
Nah, I was
New
young.
New York's
I
not
don't
getting
know.
another team. I would highly
It's not
doubt that.
exactly,
Island.
yeah, they're not getting- But hey, man, right
would
on
be-
Coney Island. I
It'd
mean,
be so
Staten Island had the
compelling,
Staten Island Yankees. That one did pretty
Dude.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
yeah,
I
we'll
think-
see. I don't know.
I think importantly, I think just the A's should move to Vegas. I know the
Right.
Raiders did. Just, no offense to A's fans, do they have a good player on that team? That team is so bad.
Sean Murphy. He's a dominant.
Sean Murphy's
Yeah.
okay. He's not.
No,
a
he's
amazing
not
okay.
player.
That's not
If he's
good.
your, if
He's
he's
good
your best
defensively.
player,
Guy can't
yeah.
hit.
If he's your best player,
He's got
then that's-
power though.
Who's their best player? Frankie
No, he doesn't.
Montas.
He's Salvador Perez.
He's got
No,
power.
he is not Salvador Perez. I have him.
He
He's not
absolutely is Salvador Perez.
He absolutely is not.
If he's
Salvador Perez
he's
is Super
Salvador
Mario
Perez at
Bros.
his worst. He's
Well-
Salvador Perez at his worst.
Well, no,
Okay. Just striking out all the time.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, he does do that. That you got right. He does strike out all the time.
I mean, Sean Murphy's famous for that. They getting hit in the ass.
Yeah. you
Dump
gotta-
truck, yeah.
That's about his-
Fupa.
Thick.
that's his best
Fickle
quality.
ball.
But yeah, that'd be. We'll see. I mean, I just want John Fisher to go bankrupt. That's kind of just what I want because that
Well,
owner
he's
is
worth a lot of money.
He's,
Oh,
he's
maybe
a
I should
disgusting
go.
piece
He'll
of
spend more
garbage.
money with more revenue. Like, you think that Vegas
Hate
can
that
get you more
guy.
revenue. Yeah.
I mean, he owns
Well,
that Gap thing. Hopefully, he whatever.
I think Buffalo isn't happening though, just because they're building a new Bill Stadium. So I don't know if they're gonna get the
And we're
funding
paying
to
for
build
it.
Exactly.
Ugh.
New York being
Imagine
You're
paying for a new
welcome.
stadium.
I mean, this may be a little. This may be a little of an intriguing one. Someone said Mexico City, and I could see that. But this, if we're talking Florida, I know Miami. People say the Marlins. No. People say the Marlins get no fans.
they don't.
Actually,
They
do get a
don't.
fair amount of fans. They do. When I'm at these games, they're
Opposing team fans.
Do you go to Mets Marlins or other Marlin games too?
Other Marlin games.
Marlins and Nationals,
Depends.
Marlins and Blue Jays.
And is it
Marlins-
all the opposing fans that come?
No, I see a lot of people wearing the Cuban jerseys. I see a lot of them. Call me crazy. Yeah, Texas could be one. I could maybe see one in Jacksonville. Jacksonville would be interesting because it's that borderline of Georgia. You have the Mississippi, Alabama area near it. Baseball is huge there, especially college ball. I mean, Jacksonville, you have the Jaguars. I mean, maybe you can make something work. I mean, maybe Orlando. I mean, Orlando would be phenomenal. You have Disney there. The tourist population is booming in Orlando. I can tell you
Get
that.
a younger audience there.
Get a younger audience.
Yeah.
That'd be huge. Orlando, Jacksonville, and regardless of me being a Floridian, that could be two interesting places.
How about somewhere in like the Midwest? I'm
San
trying to
Jose.
think. Like,
Some of this room, but there's like, who's gonna go?
Somebody
Yeah,
said San
exactly.
Antonio in the chat.
San Antonio. Texas
I remember the
is another
San
team.
Antonio Raiders talks. Those were fun.
how about
they wanted-
Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College Baseball World Series.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, no.
Ain't nothing
Oklahoma
Nebraska,
City's
Wyoming,
interesting, but
whatever. The one I
Yeah,
thought
you
about,
know,
if they want to expand internet, put in Puerto Rico. Put a
Ooh.
team in Puerto Rico.
how are teams going to travel?
Yeah, that's always a hard call.
You drive to Florida, it's like
Well,
a half
Panama,
hour
that's
to
in
Florida.
U.S.
It's like a half
territory,
hour
right?
flight. Not even.
Yeah, even
Panama's a US.
even Cuba.
No, you can't get to Cuba. Cuba, you can't get.
It would be hard.
Anyways,
Indianapolis?
Back
But
to a relevant
Indianapolis.
franchise.
back to the New York Mets.
We can do this all day.
Not too bad.
Yeah, we could do that all day.
James McCann can go there.
Yeah, can we give them up
Listen.
in the expansion
We can
draft?
put him in King Young.
Be nice. Be fucking nice. I mean, Cano would be my number one guy to get rid of first, and then it would be McCann. Honorable mention, yeah. Anyways, Taijuan Walker. He made a rehab start yesterday with the. Let's see.
Extended spring
Rehab
training
outing
for-
yesterday. He threw 45 pitches, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Now, we all know about the injury history of Walker, and this is a question that I wanted to ask. I'm pretty sure Tony brought it up last week a little bit, but we didn't really touch on it as much. Now, with the significant injury history of Taijuan Walker, should the Mets consider maybe moving Walker to the bullpen to maybe take that workload off of him? We saw him pitch a full season last year. It was his first full season in a while. But once the injuries start to stockpile, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. This is just, maybe a thought. But, long inning relievers, they're valuable. It'd be nice to have another one. I'll go over to Frank first. Should they consider moving him to the bullpen? I mean, is it possible?
If they do that, he'll have to abandon the fastball full time. He would have to become more focused, especially as reliever. He would definitely have to be focused more on the splitter, sinker, changeup kind of mix. But I think instead, 6-man rotation. I mean, I just think that's the way to go. I think that's the smartest way to do it. Keep him healthy. Keep Carrasco looking good. If you got to make some different adjustments for Max and for Jake, that's fine. But other than that, if you can just keep Taijuan a little healthier, if he's pitching every 7 days or every 8 days, if that helps keep him healthy, why not? I think that it would help out these guys long term, keep them healthy, and especially like Saturday. We have TBA. Oh, who are we going to start? If you have 6-man rotation, maybe then Taijuan Walker gets a start like that. So I think 6-man rotation is the way to go. But if they are to convert him to reliever, when you're going to be in the relief role, you're just going to be in these really tight, high leverage spots where his fastball it's too risky. So I think if he is a reliever and he's just going to be in there 1 inning, 2 innings, then you can just focus on the splitters change. You don't need as many pitches if you're a reliever. You can kind of get away with maybe only 3. So he would have to change his arsenal a little bit. But it definitely is something worth considering because we know his injury history. And you know what? He only threw a couple innings against the Phillies his first start, It looked really good. So, like, if you're only going to get a couple innings out of him anyway, and like 45 pitches, that's not enough. I mean, if you're going to stretch him out and you're not worried about him not performing well in the major leagues, you really got to stretch him out. And they said it might just be his only rehab start. It can't be just that. This guy he needs at least 70 pitches in another rehab start and then see where he's at. Because, I mean, if you're going to call him up just to throw 50 pitches, he might as well be a reliever, because then you're going to hurt your bullpen if you're going to have him as a starter only throwing that few pitches. So it's worth considering, but I would try the 6-man rotation first, and then you could look at some other possibilities.
All right. Well, Elias, Taijuan Walker, should they move him to the pen? Should they consider doing that to protect his fragile health history and what's the word? Vulnerability. There you go.
I think it's less about his health and more about that you're not moving McGill out of the rotation and you're not moving Carrasco out of the rotation at the way they've looked so far. So when DeGrom comes back healthy, you got DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Walker, Carrasco. I don't love the idea of a 6-man rotation just because it's less times to see Jake and Max, and even Bassett, who I know isn't coming off the greatest of start, but he's still a darn good pitcher. It's interesting to see whether or not he can be a reliever. Some guys say, just stick him in the bullpen. It doesn't work out. And we tried with Steven Matz a few years ago. That was a mess. And I think he ended up getting hurt afterwards and just missed the rest of the year. He was back in the 2020 shortened season. If he can do it like a long man, like you said, like almost like he can replace Trevor Williams. I think he's a better player than I think most would agree he is. Having him and Peterson as almost your long relief type guy and spot starter. There's going to be injuries, so those guys come in handy. I'd prefer him in the rotation. I just don't know where you're going to play him. I'm not in favor of a 6-man rotation personally, and McGill is staying in this rotation. He's a long-term building block in the way he's pitching right now.
Well, I think what it comes down to is for the time being, he could take Pearson's role. And I think it's like if all 6 guys are healthy. I mean, like if that happens, then we could start moving some things around. But let's just get there first.
Let's get there first. Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
If we go 6 guys healthy, that's a good problem to have,
100%.
So let's just get there first.
Yeah, I just get them healthy first, and then that's the way to keep them healthy. That's basically what the Brewers did, and that's what I kind of want to do. They were still able to get, and they were all able to go to, 100-plus innings last year.
And 3 guys made the All-Star team.
It's good to adopt different things that different teams do to combine
Especially
them
if
into
Burns
one.
wants to come in.
I was about to say, we tried to get him last year, and
Yeah,
good buddies
exactly like
with,
we said.
good buddies
Stearns,
with
he'll be
Updog.
impressed. He'll say, "What's up? Let's do it."
Man, we don't need that guy. We got the Ep Dog.
No, we need an
You
executive.
got Steve Cohen.
Yeah. Hayden, Taijuan Walker. Do we move him to the bullpen? Is it possible that maybe they should do it to protect his health?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to the rotation as of right now, like what you guys kind of said, is at least get the full rotation set. For example, game 2 of this upcoming Diamondback start, who's pitching to be determined or to be announced? It's stuff like that would be an issue. And if you have Walker healthy, you would want him to start. He's looked good. In his A-ball outing yesterday, his one start in the major league so far this year, splitter slider's been looking good. He's throwing harder. He's been looking really good. Obviously, the health injury is a huge thing for him. He is an injury-prone guy, like we've all stated, with Toronto, with Seattle. Is this going to be an endless cycle? Is he going to have the same issues in New York? I don't know. He's going to have to work with this coaching staff, Jeremy Hefner, and they're going to have to figure out a way to determine, what's the best for him. Like I said, it could be a possibility for him to go in the bullpen. I get it. The bullpen's been nice these 14 past innings, but hey, it's, like I said, you can never have as much bullpen depth and arms out there. So it's a possibility. I mean, I would much rather, coming June or July, once McGill and Peterson's innings start getting eaten up, one of those 2 guys are probably going to go to the bullpen. I hate to say it. So, I mean, do you want to have both McGill and Walker in the bullpen? Probably not. With Peterson also, probably not. If anything, I think it would probably most likely be Williams that would go to the bullpen, and I think that's fair. I kind of do like that long reliever. If a guy like Walker or whoever gets taken out early, let's say they get taken out after 3 innings, then you have a long reliever to go for the 4th, 5th, 6th, and maybe even the 7th. So it's a possibility, especially with the uncertainty of DeGrom right now. You need all hands on deck for the rotation. So maybe, if we have a 5-man rotation, DeGrom comes back and McGill's still pitching fine. The innings pitched with McGill isn't a worry. Yeah, maybe you can make the argument for Walker if his injuries start to become an issue again. But as of right now, no.
Okay. Well, Andrew, should Taijuan Walker go to the bullpen?
Again, if Jake's back and healthy, and again, like Hayden said, McGill's pitching well, Carrasco's pitching like he is, and Scherzer and Bassett are doing what they're supposed to do. You got your 5 men, and if the Mets aren't in favor of doing a 6-man, he's probably replacing Trevor Williams in his pen. He'd go to the Trevor Williams role, or maybe Williams does have to get, because again, 26, going back to the smaller rosters, somebody's going to have to get DFA'd, or either David Peterson gets sent down, and you have 2 long men in your bullpen. You lose your 3rd extra lefty with David Peterson. I could see them doing that role and say, hey, Peterson's got options. You send him down. Your Walker takes his role, eat innings. Be the let's say a guy has like Hayden, like a short start. Boom, Walker gets innings there. Or if let's say Williams goes in, boom, you double stack both of them. If a fully healthy rotation, he isn't in this rotation. If everybody's at what we expect, he is not in the 5-man rotation. He's the 6th or the 7th man. How you value Trevor Williams and how you see compared to him, he's the 7th starter in this rotation. So. He's obviously got the next year. He's going to opt into the player option. So you're stuck with him this year, and you're stuck with him most likely next year. And he's making big money, close to $10 million per season. I think this year it's 8, and next year it's 12. So give or take $10 million apiece each year. You put him in the pen. You let him be the Trevor Williams role. You hopefully somebody's going to claim him, which if you would have to DFA him, or you just send down Peterson. I would think it would just depend if you want that 3rd extra lefty in the bullpen. It's kind of where you in favor to have that extra lefty. Just in case Rodriguez gets hurt, Peterson can go in that role, or Shreve gets hurt. He can take Shreve's role, I guess. Technically, him and Shreve kind of a similar-esque role in the pen. But I could see him, again, being that extra long man, because if everybody's healthy and there's no issues when Jake gets back, he's not in the top 5. So it's either that or you can get traded, which I don't think many teams have interest in him with some kind. I think if you attach something, you can get him a tradable piece, but you have to add something to get rid of it. So in that line, I think you just probably take the Trevor Williams role if everybody's full steam ahead.
All right. Well, from a health standpoint, from a team that used 64 players last year, I think they need to do it. I personally think that he's shown throughout his entire career that he cannot stay healthy consistently. And whether his arm was dead or not last year, I don't think there's much that makes me say I desperately need to keep this guy in the starting rotation. But I would pick him to start over David Peterson, who I think would be more successful as a reliever. Twitter told me they disagree, but I apologize for telling you something that you don't want to hear. The Diamondbacks are not going to change my mind, but I definitely would do it. Personally, if I'm spending 10 million on a guy like that, or 8 million or 7 million or whatever he's getting next week, I need the guy to be healthy. And I think he probably is more, again, like we've said, the fastball, he needs to ditch it. I mean, I've pretty much preached that forever, but maybe maybe it's good for his type of repertoire to move to that bullpen spot, and we'll see. I mean, does he want to value himself as does he want to value himself as a starter to other suitors or whatever? But I don't know. There's nothing that says me this guy has to be in the rotation, especially with all the other arms that have pitched very well for us so far. Anything else that we can add on Taijuan Walker?
Yeah, I just have one comparison I just thought of. In 2015, in the playoffs, Bartolo was in the pen. So we know Walker's got the similar hairstyle. The physique is coming along. So all
Yep.
of a sudden, maybe you move into that Bartolo role come postseason time and see what happens.
All right. Rangers actually gonna fucking beat the Islanders for once. That'd
Oh
be
wow,
nice.
that's impressive.
That'd be incredible. Okay.
Let's go. Wait, actually,
Go ahead.
don't forget to Carrasco is a free agent after this year, so if Walker can get healthy and whatnot this year, pitching out of the bullpen, maybe you consider moving him back next year. It's just a thought, just because. Also, Bass is a free agent too, but I think you're going to extend him.
Jose Buto's gonna take a spot, so it doesn't matter.
Budo's got that locked up.
But other than that, we'll get to another pitcher who used to be a starter, and then they moved him to the bullpen. So that's corresponding. And then we're also talking about DFAing guys. This guy probably has to get DFA'd. I'm just kidding. Seth Lugo has started off the season pretty rough. Now, at age 32, Lugo is currently in his walk year and coming off last season, which was good, but he wasn't the Seth Lugo that we know. This year, he's definitely gotten hit hard a good amount, surrendering 4 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings and walking batters at a career high rate of 11.5%. So, Seth Lugo, I think we've talked about this before, but should Seth Lugo be a concern? Now, we listen, we've seen the bullpen have their ups and downs, but Seth Lugo right now, should Seth Lugo be a concern, a major concern in this bullpen? I'm going to start with Andrew. Let me know, should it be a major concern, Seth Lugo?
Partially. I love why I think I answer every bullpen question with partially or somewhat. SNY put up a great graphic during, I think it was post game after the Diamondback series, and showed his month by month, how he does throughout the season. And he always sucks in April, which I think he had a 5, close to a 5, 4.8 something in ERA in April, and then back in May it's sub 2.5. So he always seems to have struggles in April, but the curveball command has kind of scared me a little bit. He hasn't been able to get his curveball over as effectively as we expect the Seth Lugo curveball to be. He's been more fastball dominant, and he's been hit around. And even his fastball isn't as 94, 95. It's been at 92, 93. And as Ketel Marte is one of the big, obviously, example, pulling it down the line, just keeping it fair. So he has been hit. Phillies hit him around a little bit. I would say it's more of a concern if you didn't have the emergence of Drew Smith. If maybe a guy who can take that Lugo role if he continues to pitch this well in that 8th inning, and then you can pretty much swap the roles, which Drew Smith and Seth Lugo.
Why are we talking about a minor league reliever? What is this?
I know, minor league relievers, and they pitch well once in a while.
What is with
we
this
have to face
crap?
minor league, but having Drew Smith pitch well, kind of lessons. Maybe now you could switch the roles where Seth's pitching the 6th and the 7th, and maybe start giving some more higher leverage situations to Drew Smith. And with relievers, they're so finicky. He needs one elite outing, and then potentially he goes on a 3-week stretch where he's unhittable. He just hasn't gotten it yet. Once that curveball starts, gets that curveball over, I think you'll start seeing more of somewhat of the Seth Lugo you expect. I don't think you're going to get that sub 2 ERA from, I think it was 19. He was the dominant Lugo. I don't think you're ever going to see that again, but if you can still get a productive Seth Lugo, which I think you can, I think give it some time. In cold weather, pitchers, obviously a lot of pitchers are struggling in April. So once that weather warms up, he gets a little more grip on the ball. Maybe you start seeing that curveball become more and more effective. I don't think he's an elite reliever anymore. I think he's a solid reliever. I think he's come down to being the elite setup. That's the guy. To now he's equal to the Trevor Mays and the Adam Ottavinos, where he's he can be good or he can be really bad. He's just quality reliever.
Okay. I mean, we talk about relievers being spotty, but Seth Lugo, he has that repertoire to be a starter, and that's why he has that type of token to be consistent, and that's why he was so valuable to us for a while. But other than that, I'll go to Elias now. Should Lugo be a concern, a major concern, after his start to the season?
I think the level of concern is really dependent on how big of a role you expect him to have before the season. I was a bit cautious just because of last year. He had a struggle. drop something. Had some struggles and came off an injury at the beginning of the year. I actually saw him in AAA, and he did not look good. He gave up a couple hits. I think he gave up 2 runs when he was rehabbing the injury. Obviously, it's rehab from an injury, so you can't put too much stock into that. I think with guys like Drew Smith kind of emerging as dominant bullpen guys, you can rely on Seth Lugo a bit less. I do think he's kind of cooked in a way that I don't think he's getting back to his 2019 form. It seems like ever since they had that experiment with him in the rotation back in 2020, he just hasn't really been the same guy ever since. Is he a good player? Yes. I don't think he's the great player he was a few years ago. So I think, like I said, the concern is really based on how big of a role you were expecting him to have.
All right, I just want to say something random right now, and just because I keep up this conversation with Andrew all the time. Andrew Kopp has a hat trick in the first period. That's crazy. Anyways, the depth saved my life. That's all I got to say. Anyways, I'll go to Hayden now. Seth Lugo, is his start to the season a major concern for the Mets?
Yeah, I mean, Lugo's been looking very interesting his last couple starts. I mean, a lot of breaking pitches aren't really connecting very well. And just overall, he really looks like a completely different pitcher. Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I mean, feel bad. I will say his mom and sister follow me on Twitter, and they seem like very nice people. Great to talk politics and current events with, but I have to control myself that I don't lash out and cause any animosity or any issues. But that aside, yeah, Lugo's just I don't. Like I said, the breaking pitches has been looking completely different. And I don't know. I mean, he hasn't really looked like his old 2019 bullpen self. I mean, 2020, he was in the rotation. 2021, obviously, he suffered injuries, his bodies and that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, maybe is that still affecting him? We know that he had the partially torn UCL, right? I don't really know if that's an issue. I doubt it, but we'll see. Coming ahead, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, it's game over for Lugo. I think there's time. I'm not going to make excuses. It could be the weather. It could be the returning of the injury. It could be a whole ton of things. As of right now, just give him the innings he needs. And, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I would really hate to see him lose that role as that 7th, 8th inning setup man. But, if he's going to be performing the way he is, then he will not be getting those starts. But as of right now, I'm not panicking, but I think it's something to be very cognizant about.
Okay, well, Andrew, is that a shark?
Yeah, that's a
Is that a
6 foot
shark?
shark. Yeah, it's a 6 foot shark.
Wait, hold on. Let me see this.
Nice. Okay, anyways. Frank, you're a huge Seth Lugo guy. I know you like Seth Lugo. Is it a major concern? Given right now.
I mean, I don't want to say major, but it is a concern if his command's not there. I mean, I think I've always think the thing I like the most about Seth Lugo was that he, like you said, he had that starting pitching repertoire. He had all these different pitches he could throw in any count and locate them in any count. Like they say, get the curveball over for a strike, not just be a put away pitch to get guys to chase. So if his slider is not there, his curveball is not there, then it is a concern because he doesn't have this stuff. I mean, that would just go for, I think, any pitcher. So if he continues to pitch like this where his stuff isn't getting over, then I don't know what you really do with him because it's like you said, it's like what kind of role are you going to put him in? I mean, can you trust him in a game against the Arizona Diamondbacks where it's 0-0 and all of a sudden like he has an inherited runner and he can't get out of it? Like, I mean, that's the vintage Lugo role because like his command used to be so good that you could bring him in with runners on. But now if he gets behind the count and has just to throw a fastball right in there for them to tee off on, that's just not going to get it done no matter who you are. So it's just he's a very tough guy to evaluate because that first series against the Nationals, I know the Nationals thing, but he looked fine. He went 1-2-3 inning, a couple scoreless innings. And then like Andrew said, I was looking at his April right here. In April, he was bad. May was good. Then, like, in June, he was bad. July was good. August was bad. September was good. Like, You don't know yet. I mean, is he going to have another great May? Is he just that inconsistent? I mean, that's what it could be.
Don't
He
do
could be
it.
streaky.
Don't do it. I'll kill you.
You shit on a certain player that used to play for us, but then one of your favorite players is so similar.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, if the Ducks want to take Seth Lugo, I'm not complaining. I would go to the game, so nothing wrong with that. Be teammates again. That's fine with me. This way, I don't have to. He doesn't hurt the Mets anymore. He could just refine himself with the Ducks. He'd be the next Rich Hill, and they get him the Rich Hill curveball, and they fix him, and we're all good.
Little fucking twinkle in that rhino eye, a motherfucker. I'll kill him. All right. Yeah. Seth Lugo. He hasn't been Seth Lugo for multiple years now. And even though he's still good, you've always been able to tell that, like, something's missing. And his slider has always been below average. He's got command of it, but it's not fantastic. But it's gotten worse over time. Pretty much unthrowable at this point. The main problem is that curveball. Although it is as spinny as ever, he just does not look like he's got a strong grip on it at all. Although I don't think there is much to worry about overall. He still just looks uncomfortable to me. And it might be possible that he still has not recovered from elbow surgery last year. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if he needs another elbow surgery. The thing is that he just doesn't look like that smooth motion type of flawless, versatile pitcher that he used to be. Now, he is going on to be 33. He's not young at all. But I just think that the wear down on Lugo's elbow is a lot bigger than people think it is. And either way, I mean, I really hope he does figure it out. He has been one of our best relievers we've had for a long time. And, we'll see what happens, but he just doesn't look like Seth Lugo. Like the Seth Lugo that we saw in 2019, I hate to say it again because it sucks because I do like Lugo. 2019's over. And that's just the reality. So I don't know. It's something about him that it's like he just doesn't look like Seth Lugo. And there's just something off, and maybe they need to do something else to fix it. Maybe they just never have fixed it. Maybe Luis Rojas screwed him up by shoving him into the rotation in a 60-game season as a shark just flies out of nowhere. But other than that, like, anything else we can add on Seth Lugo, and then we'll move on to our final, second to last. But other than that, nope, nothing else on Seth Lugo. We'll see what happens. Again, it's a long season, a long grind, shall the kids say. Anyways, like we said, we mentioned it before. On May 1st, the 28-man rosters will be going down to 26. And there will be some cuts that will have to be made. So what do the Mets do here? Now, there are a few options. There might be a few trolling options. There might be a few rage DFA options like Jeff Wilpon. But overall, how should the Mets trim this down to 26 men? How should they look at it? Anything that you want to go overall with the roster? I'm going to start. Jesus Christ. I'm going to start with Elias. How do they clean it out, clean two guys out, and bring it down to 26?
Okay, first one, obvious. Sean Reed-Foley, bye-bye. He's out of options, DFA him. He's a walking walk. He's terrible. After Sean Reed-Foley, there's not really any bad players on this team necessarily, so you're going to have to make a tough cut, and that's something I've wanted this team to have for a while, not have that obvious, oh, this guy's terrible, this guy's terrible, this guy's terrible. They're easy to get rid of. It's going to be a tough call who to get rid of. When you look at position players, I don't think there's anyone. I think there's a discussion of maybe a JD Davis. You trade him for a minor leaguer, like a prospect or something, or a Dom Smith. neither of those guys necessarily have a big role on this team, just their inability to play defense. I think Dom stays just because he's the backup first baseman and you can put Pete at DH. So honestly, JD, and he hasn't really played well this year anyways. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trade. I wouldn't DFA him. I would trade him for something, for a prospect of some sort, just to get something to replenish his farm system. Just because in the pitching side, there's not too many obvious guys. Like I want to keep Joely Rodriguez just as that lefty. Like we said, use him correctly. It'll have good results. Obviously, you also traded Miguel Castro, who's not a great but decent reliever. So you don't want to give up on the guy you just traded for that quickly. After Sean Reed Foley, like I said, it's a tough pick. If JD Davis goes, I wouldn't be bothered by it.
Okay, I totally heard every single thing that you said. I'll go to the GM, the Rhino himself. How do you bring this down to 26?
Yeah, DFA Sean Reed Foley. That's the easiest. Kindergartner can hit that T-ball. I'm gonna say it because he's the only guy that doesn't fit on this roster right now. It's if he continues to swing pool noodles and has like a 5 chase rate, is you write a check, you put him on a private island, and you send Robinson Cano to Jacoby Ellsbury Island. He does not bring you anything. And if I have to continuously hear Keith Hernandez, he's a great league, he's a ball. This guy's a bum. This guy was a bum 2 years ago because the only reason he was decent because he had a little bit of Barry Bonds syndrome, and then look, he had a great year. You know what? Just have him give him another good protein shake, and if he just gets suspended, goodbye. But if the Mets are serious on trying to win, you do not keep Robinson Cano on this roster. They're going to probably do something stupid and probably DFA Jankowski because he's the only guy. You're not going to trade Dom unless Dom or JD's traded, but that's the only guy. You're not going to get rid of Guillorme because that's your only backup second baseman shortstop. JD is your person. Nito stays, who's the second catcher. Dom Smith's your first baseman. So you got JD Davis to Robinson.
Let me get a clip of that.
He's my person, man. He's our person.
Like, JD can at least sometimes hit a fastball. Maybe. Occasionally. No. I mean, not really, but he hits him better than Cano. And Cano, at least he has some upside. The only upside that Robinson Cano is getting out of bed every day. That's the only upside he has because, he's pushing more Frank's age than my age. So he's got to go. There is nothing he brings. Just take the $40 million, give him a check, give him a private yacht, and just set him to sail. And if the boat drowns, too bad.
All right. And then you can take the money right back. Steal it right back from him. All right. Frank, down to 26. Who's got to go?
Yeah. So we all agree Sean Reed Foley. But the other one, I'm going to go all in on it. JD Davis. I just think it's time. This guy right here, man, he has literally no role. Like, he does not serve a purpose on this team. They played him one game at third base, and I don't think he lasted the full game. I don't think he played all 9 innings there. They just refused to put him in the field, and his bat isn't that good. Like, I mean, he got the one hit against Arizona, and then him taking the extra base. I feel like, even anybody could have done that. That was all Buck. I mean, Buck said go, he ran. I mean, I'm not going to give you brownie points for knowing how to run. I mean, that should kind of just come with the job. But I just think that it's like Andrew said, like, he just doesn't serve a purpose on this team. With there being with there being a DH, and I like, as much as I want it to be Cano, like I said, you want it to be Cano, it won't be Cano, unfortunately. Like, we know Buck's going to keep him no matter what. He's going to stay. So since it can't be Cano, I think JD's the guy because I'm not getting rid of Jankowski. No way. At least Jankowski has a role. I mean, this guy played how many times this week? 3, 4, 5. And he played a lot this week, when Nimmo and Cano went down. And at least he has that role of, okay, defense replacement, late game speed guy. JD doesn't have that because his bat is not worthy of, like, again, when you look at this lineup, who do you take out and put JD Davis in for? The catcher. But, I mean, Buck's not crazy about using both catchers unless it's like the 9th inning. I mean, so he's not in a rush. He's not going to pitch at James McCann in the 6th inning or Tomas in the 6th inning. So he's not going to go to JD Davis there. And if anything, he'll just go to Dom Smith, who's not great either, but he's just as good, probably better than JD Davis. So I just don't really see a role for him right now. whatever they could get for him, you get it. He should have been gone already. JD felt like he was going to be gone. You could trade the offseason. Maybe he had some kind of value. You could have used the hand excuse, say, oh, don't worry, he's healthy. He'll be good now. We promise. And you just send him away to somebody and you just rob him like the way the Yankees did with Miguel Castro and Joey Rodriguez. Oh, yeah, he's got 3 years on his deal. Just kidding. It's 1. You could have just done the same thing with JD. Just lie and pull fast one on somebody. So that would be my pick.
Here's an observation. Do any of y'all see JD Davis even in the dugout when he's not starting?
I was actually going to say something. I'm glad you reminded me. In 2019, well, I know we don't want to go back to 2019. We had so many gifts of JD Davis doing dances and celebrations whenever somebody hit a home run. I have not seen this man in the dugout whenever somebody hits a home run.
Do they tell him, hey, we're not going to start you today. We don't plan on putting you in the game. Don't come?
I forget he's on.
Did they just say that?
Sometime.
Is it possible?
It feels that way. It feels that way.
Like, he's nowhere to be found. Unless you see him out of the dugout with a batting helmet on or with a glove on, he's nowhere to be found. So, Hayden, down to 26. You have 28 right now. How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of covered it. Sean Reed Foley, obviously, his command is horrible. Send him down to A-ball, control everything. I mean, otherwise, you have Cano or JD Davis. I think it's unlikely it's going to be any of those guys. As I would really hate it to be. Yeah, I mean, I got Sean Reed Foley. Otherwise, the second guy, I really couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, the odd man out, I said the first to go, it's obviously Sean Reed Foley. Do think he has great upside, though. But he doesn't have any options left, so you don't really have a choice. I like Joely Rodriguez, and I think that the fact that he's a lefty gives him that advantage. I'd love for them to tell Cano to just fuck off, but we'll see what happens. If I had to make a prediction, I'd probably say it's SRF, and then, to be honest, I go possibly one of JD or Dom, most likely JD. If it's a hot take or not, I think we've all said, oh, JD's not going to be on this team next year. JD's not, and he's still here. So, to be honest, as long as it doesn't affect the chemistry, these guys love each other. That's all that really matters. 2019 was an absolute blast. I'd love to win 86 games again, and not make the playoffs. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, but I think the guarantee is probably Sean Reed Foley, but we'll see. Let's hope they don't send down Jankowski. That's what I'm hoping. Go ahead, Frank.
Is there any possibility of Trevor Williams?
I fucking hope not. I really hope not.
Does he have options?
I'd say Peterson over Williams just because of the options.
Well, the thing is that we haven't seen Williams in a few days, and Peterson right now is in the rotation. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they're just gonna. I don't know. Like, are they just gonna completely just cut JD Davis like goodbye, get him get nothing in return?
Personally, this is my opinion. I think Trevor Williams is a better starting option than Taijuan Walker and David Peterson, but that's a question. That's a story for another day. But it's possible it could be Trevor Williams, but I mean, he's a Zach Scott guy, but
oh god,
yeah.
How'd that trade work out?
What's the thing you guys sent in the group chat? What is Zach Scott doing now? Like he's
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Independent executive or some shit like that. Yeah.
It's not Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't really. It's not an AA meeting.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we'll add in some questions from the chat, and then we'll get to a return of a segment that we've kind of neglected. I didn't even get to look at these, so if anybody has any notes, you can go ahead and take some airtime. Favorite City Connect jerseys? I didn't even look at these. I'm going to tell you right now.
Astros.
White
Astros
Sox. Not even close. I love the White Sox one.
I
All
love
black.
I love the pink flowers on Astros.
I hate it. Really?
I like the gray
hate
with
it.
the pink.
It's those. Okay.
Those jerseys, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I totally know what you guys are talking about. I totally know. But
Mets getting one anytime soon.
Next year.
What would the Mets City Connect jersey be like?
It has to be
probably will
orange.
be a skyline.
Queens
Probably
or
skyline. Orange and a skyline or whatever, something like that, right?
something
Make it
Queens
the
or
black
like
jersey. Just make it black, please.
Bring back the Los Mets. Come on.
Right in the
Do
lowest
it.
Met.
Yeah.
Come on.
The orange jersey.
Just don't make it as bright of an orange. I'm okay with
Bring
the
back
orange, but the
the-
bright whoo, traffic cone. No.
Traffic.
But Davis has two options. Yeah, we'll see. This is another one. Overall, I mean, are the Mets the favorite in the NL East?
I think it's too soon to tell. I don't think
they
they
can
were.
with the defending champ in the division.
Here's
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see him play the Braves. I know we
That's-
saw him play the Giants just now. You got to see them play the Braves because the Braves are the team they're going to be playing 19 times this year, and they got to win a majority of those to win that division. I understand whoever beats up on the Marlins or the Nationals or whatever, even though the Marlins are a pretty good squad,
We still haven't played them yet either.
they're not a liability yet. We still haven't played the Marlins yet. So we'll see. I don't know. Anything else we're going to add on to this? If not, then we'll move on to...
I mean, Acuna's on his way, so
Yeah, Acuna's on his way. Matt Olson's
wonder-
right. So
I don't know how
Madison's
he's going
killing
to
it.
play though. Just coming right back though. Do you expect?
well, he's
him
doing a
to-
rehab assignment right now.
Right. I mean,
so
there's still
it'll be a
gonna
still
little
good
bit
period.
before we see him.
he's better than Guillermo Heredia, whoever the hell they got playing. So it's an upgrade for
Guillermo,
them. So you're already getting
He's-
more value.
Farmer Matt.
Okay, listen, Heredia turns into Acuna against the Mets. So
Everybody does. Like that's not like literally every bum in every lineup turns into a god against the Mets.
you sure?
Yeah. All the young says hi.
But yeah, I think they just
Yeah,
need to beat the Braves.
Nagowski.
The Gaussick, the dude
Yeah,
with the
the
pirate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's too many to count.
Yeah, you have a whole
Um,
video about it.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
Carson's
idea.
criteria. Players who are just absolutely terrible who are good against the Mets.
Michael Franco.
Random Met
obviously.
killers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
video about it on your channel.
Yeah, I might
check
do
it out.
a part 2 to that. I'll see. But maybe in a different concept though. I don't know. Mapping some things out. Who knows? We might never get a video out for ever.
When is the
All his videos are neat.
when's the rankings video coming out?
Yeah,
Had to scrap it. Took too
Ooh,
long.
yeah.
Yeah. Too much shit. Life got in the way. Happens.
Sounds like James.
But other than that, I think we'll move to the Rhino Report, which is officially back, new and improved. So if you want to explain what you've got going forward for the Rhino Report, we'll pop that up on here. That's beautiful.
Is there an intro video for
Um,
the Rhino Report or
Wait, what?
no? Right.
We'll get one, but
Yeah.
not right now.
Not right now.
Um,
Mets man's very lazy.
We'll
So,
get there. I'm a little lazy. Yeah,
He's very
go
lazy.
ahead.
Obviously,
Here,
in
I'll
the
give you the top
offseason-
bunk. Hold on. There you go.
Okay. In the offseason, I did every other team besides the New York Mets. Talked all the top prospects. And this one, I'm probably going to do it every 1 or 2 weeks, maybe twice a month, maybe once a month. I don't know. Just pretty much recapping what's going on down in the Mets farm. It's going to be Mets-centric, talking about the big guys. Who's the one surprise at the end? I'll throw my surprise of the crew. Obviously, mostly revolving around these guys. When Matt Allen decides to ever throw a pitch on a rubber, I'll update him. Calvin Ziegler and the rest of them, we'll do those guys next time. So pretty much just going over what happened down in the farm, see how the guys are doing. And we'll start off with the guy that Frank has wet dreams about every night. Obviously, absolutely raking. Slash line 355. This is all going into tonight's games. Obviously, Beatty went 0 for 2, so deduct, whatever. But Alvarez was off tonight. 355 average, a 432 on base, 871 slug, a 1300 OPS, and a WRC plus 251. 4 homers. It really should be 7 because they went and played in Pawtucket or what the hell is Portland now, and they got a green monster, and Alvarez is hitting absolute bombs off it, but they're doubles. So it really should be close to 7 homers, leading the team in RBIs, second in hits in 8 games played. We go down to the rest of the trio down in Binghamton. Brett Beatty, the batting average merchant, almost hitting 400. Going to go down to probably 390 after today's outing 0 for 2 and getting ejected. So love to see the fire from Brett. 439 on base, a 605 slug and OPS over 1,000, and a 196 WRC plus but you are seeing only 1 homer, 2 RBIs, kind of being more the rally starter because the guy in front of him is hitting homers and the guy behind him is driving him in. He's leading the team and hits with 15. He's got a bunch of runs scored, but he's not driving in the runs because Alvarez is clearing them up, and then he's setting them up for Ronnie, who's behind him. Ronnie this year, 308, 341 on base, 538 slug, a 879 OPS, a 157 WRC plus. 1 homer, 6 RBIs. Again, not the greatest numbers. 12 hits in 9 games played. Had a 3-double game the other night. I think it was on Tuesday, a 3-double game. Obviously, kicking ass behind him with that big 3 in Binghamton. But there really is a big 4 in Binghamton because, of course, the homie Jose Budo. 1-1, a 0.66 ERA in 13 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 1 earned run, gave up a homer. It happens. But then you look at the walks to strikeout rate, 20 strikeouts to 3 walks total in 13 innings pitched. The guy's dominating. Had a 4-inning outing, struck out 7 of those guys. So he's been absolutely kicking ass. Moving up, Syracuse, the guy we want to replace Robinson Cano, is doing what he did last year, and that is everyone's like, oh my God, he did the same thing last year. And then once May came along, he started hitting absolute bombs, and then we're like, oh, he's the guy replacing Robinson Cano. Is struggling a bit, a $184 average, 279 on base, 342 on slug, 621 OPS with a 95 WRC plus. Hit his first homer in the first game and really hasn't done much. The cold weather from the Florida kid maybe affecting him a little bit, but he did the same thing last year in Binghamton, then got hot as the season progressed. And my surprise of the week, Alex Ramirez, the top 10 outfield prospect that everyone says, oh, the Mets don't have outfield prospects. No, they got Simon. They obviously signed Simon Juan out of the international draft this past year. This is the kid nobody's talking about. Hitting, yes, 500 in Dimes game played, a 550 slug, a 722 slug. 550 on base, 722 slug, an OPS of 1200. WRC plus 243. No homers, 5 RBIs, 18 hits in 9 games played. He's the surprise of the week. Also give shout-outs to Calvin Ziegler and Dominic Harrell and Handhold. What's his name? Eric Handhold. Both had some good relief outings down in Port St. Lucie. Binghamton and I think just Binghamton and St. Lucie. Oh, was your updated Rhino Farm report. I might have to change it up, but that is it. So, just your update on the farm for the prospects.
There's no Dayoka, so what are we doing here? Are you just trying to waste my time?
Yeah, pretty much. He really hasn't done much. He's pitched. He's got a couple strikeouts. He's walked a few guys. Gave up a bomb the other day. Bomb the other day to the Red Sox.
God damn it.
But
anything else we can talk about on the farm? And then if not, we'll get to our closing segment of closing segments.
How's Jalen Palmer doing?
I really haven't. He's in Brooklyn. Brooklyn started on my birthday. I really haven't been seeing them much. They've played a few games. I haven't seen anybody talking about him, so I would expect him doing much because there really hasn't been anything out of Brooklyn yet. Because everybody's in Binghamton, and obviously nobody's really talking about Brooklyn. It's him, and that's really about it. Once Allen gets healthy, he'll probably be in Brooklyn, and then people will actually start talking about Brooklyn. But they've played
New York. So I got to root for him.
So.
Okay, who was that other guy who? There's one guy I wanted to talk about. Come to me.
No one can get in that. Nobody wants to get in that brain, so you're on your own. No.
Hey, listen, I'm not that bad. Okay. Studs and Duds, everyone's favorite segment. I think somebody asked this in the chat. I saw this earlier. That's one of our segments, so that's cool. Welcome to the party. Go around the table. We see someone we hated this week. We see someone we loved. TonyMetro, who is not with us, he did give us his studs and duds. Chasen Shreve as his stud and Dominic Smith as his dud. So, we still got 4 or 5 slots, or 10, whatever. My brain just exploded. So, studs, we'll start with studs first. Let's start with positivity and with negativity because that's the best part. Andrew, I'll start with you. Who's your stud?
I'll save the obvious one for someone else, but I'm going to go with the Schnurzer. The Schnurz home debut flirting with a no-no, and I love what he said post-game. He said, hey, I was going 7. I'm saving that bullpen. I'm going to do it, and he did what he said, and he balled out. Give me the Schnurz for the GOAT of the week.
Okay. The GOAT of the week. Okay.
There's a GOAT, yeah.
Frank, stud.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take him. I had to take good old Eddie Escobar. He had a really nice week.
Okay.
364 average going into today. Obviously, we saw the first home run, and he's even keeping up with the home walks. He drew another walk today, which is not what we expected. But he's just been doing his thing. He's putting together a quality at bat just about every single time. Every ground ball to him, he fields it cleanly. He throws it cleanly. Again, we can't say the same for J.D. Davis and Jonathan VR and some other recent third basemen. So I think that is an upgrade in itself. And he's I think number one in doubles and something like that. So he's just out there. He's doing his thing. He's playing really well. He's been pretty good with RSIP in the very limited at bats he's had. He's been pretty much the Brett Beatty of the team. Nobody's ever on for this guy. I mean, he's always just like waiting for opportunities, but you got a big polar bear in front of him that's striking out too much, and he doesn't have any opportunities. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I apologize to Eduardo Escobar. I don't like being wrong, but oh well.
You're wrong a lot.
Elias stud of the week. Who do you got?
Gonna take the obvious one. The new Linsanity, Francisco Lindor.
All right. Anything you'd like to add? No, he's just been Lindor.
He's just been money. He's been great.
All
and
right.
It's damn good to see.
Short and sweet. I like it. All right. Hayden, stud of the week. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys to choose from, whether it's Lindor, Escobar, McNeil, Alonso, Scherzer. I mean, a lot of the Mets have been having good weeks, but I'm gonna echo with what Elias said and say Francisco Lindor. He's been looking good. I like what we see from him. The on base percentage, the average, the OPS. I mean, it's been phenomenal. The hits also going the opposite way, driving the ball, hitting for power, a little bit of everything. So really like what we're seeing out of Lindor. The walk-off was something huge. Defensively, he's had one or two mishaps that were bad and almost cost the Mets the game, but he did make up for it with that walk-off. So I'm going to go Francisco Lindor for the stud of the week.
Okay. It's probably our first shocker. I mean, you know.
Well, for me, it is.
All right. Carlos Carrasco. Come on. He has looked like the Carrasco that we traded for. He's not as fastball heavy as he was last year. He pitched fantastic today. He needed a spring training, and then he's good to go. He's such an easy guy to root for. I love what I'm seeing from this guy so far. He did get spoiled by the home run by Yastrzemski, but you know what? It happens. Caps off a great start. He looked fantastic today. He looked fantastic against Arizona. He looked fantastic so far, the entire year so far. So, great against the Nationals too. Again, like I said, he was brought in to be a 3. He's probably our 4 right now. He's probably a 5 when DeGrom comes back. 2 to 3 run ball, I'll take that any day. Andrew, let's get to duds. Who sucked complete ass? Sorry.
If everyone does not have the same answer, that's a joke. Because there really isn't a guy who's like, oh, this guy sucked this week. There's only one answer. And it's McChicken shit. And that's all I need to say. He's the only guy. I mean, you can say Robinson Cano, but that's everybody said him last week, or most of us said him last week. There's only one answer for this week, and that's James McChicken shit. I love him. I'm still going to troll. I'm still waiting for that clutch homer so I can post a certain picture. But you know what? He's just garbage.
Frank, dud of the week?
I'm going to go with J.D. Davis. I'm going to double down. I mean, he had 2 hits this week out of his 12 plate appearances, and he's striking out a lot. I mean, he's just not doing anything productive right now. Nothing, like we said, nothing on the bases. Some guys, like, let's say if Luis Guillorme did have a good week offensively, it's like, okay, we know he still gave us defense. Or Jankowski, he still gave us speed. It's like, if JD's not hitting, he's not doing anything else well. I mean, that's the only redeeming quality he has at all. So if he's not hitting, then, again, his value just isn't really there. And it stinks because he's a guy that you like to root for, you want to root for. I want him to do well, but I know he's a guy that he does better if he plays more. It's not going to happen here. I think it would be very beneficial for both sides to move on, let him go somewhere he could be good, and then you could have something that maybe fits your team better. whether that is another pitcher, whether that is another guy that fits what you're looking for off the bench. I mean, that's what they should be looking at right now.
Can't hit a fastball. I mean, that's just the great main thing to say. Like, he just can't hit a fastball. I mean, anything over 95 plus goes right down the dick. Can't hit it. It's just like, can't hit it. I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, you can make as many excuses. He's not playing every day. He's not seeing fastballs every day. But, like, the guy can't hit a fastball. He couldn't hit it last year, and he was pretty much their everyday third baseman. So, Elias, dud of the week, who sucked complete dog shit. I'm trying to get as many terms as I can in.
Well, two great options to start that have already been mentioned. I'm going to go with JD Davis as well. I just think he's playing his way off this roster. When I mentioned him, I think I opened up the segment of guys who could be gone. I thought it was a bit of a hot take that JD Davis could be gone, and the rest of the panel agreed with me. And I think it's about time a lot of the fan base does. I know, nice guy, team chemistry, all that good stuff. I know a lot of people didn't want to get rid of him last year, the trade deadline. And he's just playing terribly. He's hitting terribly, and that's all he can do. You wish he could be this big bat off the bench. Pinch hitting seems like it's just not his friend, and it's just not working out for him. He's had a bad week. Like, I know that big moment with the stolen base, not the stolen base, like, you know what I'm talking about. That was all Showalter. So yeah, I think JD Davis's days in the Mets are soon to be over, and he did not have a good week.
All right. I don't know if I've said this before, but he can't hit a fastball. Okay. Hayden.
I'm sorry, Hayden. I just have one question. If Taijuan Walker threw JD Davis a fastball, could he hit that one?
Probably not.
I think the earth would explode. I think the earth would explode.
Really good question. Yeah.
I was curious.
All right. Hayden, who sucked donkey ass? There you go.
Well, as I stated before, I'm officially going to join the anti-James McCann committee, and it is going James McCann. I know it's no big surprise that this dude is fucking trash, but he has been on a whole other level of fucking trash. I don't know what's higher, his OBP or everyone else's batting average in the lineup. This dude cannot get on base. The only way he can get on base is if he walks. And that was literally when he walked last night, that was literally the biggest surprise. This dude cannot pull the ball off the ground. He had 2 sharp hits to center field that were caught. I don't know what value Cohen and these people saw in him prior. I mean, I know the sample size was something which I worried about. I don't know what they saw in him. I understand you're waiting for Alvarez, but this is just on a whole other level. And 2 days ago, when Nimmo and Canna were out, you needed every bat. Every single at bat mattered. Why? Because Nimmo and Canna are going to take as many pitches as possible, and you don't have that in the lineup for that D-back series. So McCann's bat did matter, and McCann was horrendous. I just don't see anything in the future with this dude. He is horrendous. I'm like, listen, I hate to come on here and shit talk players. I get it. I'd be a shitball player. I'd probably have a 0 batting average for the whole season. But I just, you're making 20, 40, 80 million this dude. He can't pull the ball off the ground. I mean, defensively, he's gotten better. But I need some offense from the dude. Like, I know I've said in the past, now that you have the DH, I don't care about catcher's offense as much. But when you come into the situation where a lot of the bottom of the order has been hitting, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter have been hitting. And when you lead off an inning, when you have runners on the corner and mid crap coming up into a double play, like, really, dude? I don't know. I really don't freaking know with him anymore. It's James McCann.
He has a double play this year.
Don't think he can get any worse. I mean, can this dude get any worse than batting, like 67 with his 19 OPS plus? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And I hate to come on here and, shit talk McCann. I know I'm probably giving Carson a break, but I just honestly put Nito in the lineup, put Mazika, put me in the lineup behind the plate. I don't know more. I defensively, he's been okay. I'm not going to say he's been awesome with framing, But offensively, you need at least a couple important hits, and you just can't get that out of him.
Carson, how has his defense been? Like analytically or whatnot?
He is the next Jason Bay. I will say that. He's the next Jason Bay.
Framing, he looks fantastic. Overall defense, he still sucks donkey shit. But yeah, I think everyone said it. My dud, it has to be the same guy. He's useless. What am I going to say anymore? I mean, I began this wagon, okay? And I'm still sticking to it. This guy sucks. He's awful. Okay, listen, I expected him to be, a little below average, maybe average.
Serviceable,
whatever. Not comparable to JT and Real Muto, but at least better than Wilson Ramos, just a little bit. He sucks. He's awful. Wayne Kirby could do this guy's job. Like, I was right. You're wrong. Kiss my ass. Anyways, anything else that we can do? Honorable mentions, anyone? One guy that I do want to mention for studs, Edwin Diaz, obviously. He's been fantastic. 2 non-save situations. Unhittable. Who would have thought? Anybody else for studs or duds? Hayden, you got one?
Yes, I would like to mention Pete Alonso. Biased aside, I know I was shitting on him in the group chat, but in the last 7 games, he's had like 8 hits, so that's pretty dominant. Also, he literally did bail out Francisco Lindor in yesterday's game, so that would have been a disaster if that ball went by him. And we all know that's true. Because if that ball went by him, you have the Giants up. Everyone's shitting on Lindor. So, no, but regardless aside, I will say in the last 7 games, 7 hits, batting 292, OBP at 345, slugging at 417. It's not bad. Maybe the slugging you like a little bit higher, but the average is there.
Yeah, you just got to stop over swinging. Like I said,
that long swing I've noticed
too much.
Been something with them. But I think Alonso would be a the strikeout's a little worry. Yeah, like he tries to be hero, and we saw it when there were runners on second and third in the whatever inning. He swings first pitch. Like, I don't give a shit if it's a fastball. Take a pitch or two. So he's playing against the D-backs. That's his bread and butter. So we'll see how he does there. He has good numbers in Chase Field. I'd like to give Jeff McNeil an honorable mention. He came up with a couple important clutch hits to give go ahead runs and stuff. So really good defense. Also, I think the 2 or 3 games ago, that good catch in the left field. So I'd like to give him an honorable mention. Obviously, Mark Canha. Obviously, Eduardo Escobar. Pretty much his whole team can get honorable mentions, but those are a couple guys that stand out.
Marte was good in the Arizona series, but not as good in the San Francisco series. Like, Marte had those big home runs against Arizona, but not against San Fran. But I think one other stat I saw there just today, which I thought was interesting, is that Pete Alonso leads the team in strikeouts. Dom Smith is 1 behind him, and Dom barely plays. I didn't realize that Dom is striking out that badly. And again, we talk about what is the DH role. What is it? It's to be a good hitter. And your DH options are Robinson Cano, Dom Smith, JD Davis.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's a
Did you see our DH today?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're getting more value out of putting Lindor at DH, putting Alonso at DH, or Marte, whoever. Like, oh my God. Again, I almost rather have the pitchers hitting at this point. Between the catchers and the DHs.
To be honest, I say put Alonso at DH. Let Dom play first to get his value up for the trade market. Just at this point,
if we could have got Taylor Rogers for him, they probably should have jumped on that.
Because this is a luxury position with the DH, and it doesn't feel like it. Plus, you're adding our catchers who can't hit shit. So,
yeah, I was curious.
No offensive value out of 7 of your 9 positions in the lineup. That is more impressive. That's how good the offense has been with 2 absolute dumpster fires at the bottom of the line.
But here's the problem. Here's the crazy thing. Every time we have a lot of men on base, It's always
Who's
them.
always-
It's always them. I'm pretty sure McCann and Nito, and they've been platooning. They're in top 5 with plate appearances with runners in scoring position.
It makes sense when Escobar has been drawing
Yeah.
so many walks and Marquand is batting in front of them. Like, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but why? Why does it have to happen? It's just so annoying. Ooh, there was another one I wanted to mention.
Can I just say one
Travis
thing back?
Jankowski deserves a mention. He's looked good. Travis Jankowski. He's looked pretty good when we've needed him, especially when 2 of our key hitters like Nimmo and Canna just went down. He filled the spot very well. He's not perfect, but he gets on base. He's got speed. He's Travis Jankowski.
And Buck is so impressed they didn't pinch hit Nemo for Jankowski because he said Jankowski is as good as anybody on the team.
I think so.
Buck's very
I think he is. Absolutely. I mean, did you see he looked like the leader in that photo? He was in the middle of everyone.
So basically, we should just
Jankowski in
give
the
the
New York
100 to
Mets.
Jankowski and tell Nemo to team up with.
Give it to both. Give it to both. Money's not an issue. And then another honorable dud. Anybody? Honorable duds? Don't do it. Don't
I mean,
do
we had a
it.
segment about him, so Seth Lugo.
Robinson.
I mean, yeah, you could say Seth Lugo, yeah. Andrew.
What? I
Okay,
don't know what
he's
you're
not
trying.
thinking of
I'm
it.
like
That's good.
so out of whatever.
That's
you're trying
good.
to do.
I know who he wants him to say. It's tempting, but I'm not going to do it.
Why am I so fucking lost right now? It's not 420.
Yeah.
Let's keep him that way. All right, I think we're going to close this out unless there's any
Honestly,
extra questions that we can do.
He would have a job in the off season, particularly in a certain month, if he wore an outfit.
Just go. I'm
All right.
lost. Just go.
Yeah.
Tired. Got my
All
phone.
right. Did we talk about this during the stream? I know we talked about it off stream,
We talked off stream.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
I think we mentioned it. Yeah.
the one AA game,
Damn, we're
the
not watching.
one. Damn it. But yeah, Marcel Renteria took some shots. Beatty got ejected for arguing balls and strikes. Starting to look a little Jeff McNeil-ish. I don't know.
I will fight you with that shark.
But yeah, other than that, I think we'll just close this one out. We'll start with Andrew. We'll go around the table, and yeah, we'll kick it off to next week. And team's hot, guys. Let's keep it going in Arizona. So, Andrew, anything else you want to say?
Yeah.
Go
Content again. Probably gonna do. Might be doing like some 2 a.m. post games. Thinking about it for the Diamondback series. Thinking about it, but expect a vlog next week because I'm going to Monday and Tuesday's Cardinals Mets game, and I'm going to the Cardinal game on Friday, and I'm going to a Springfield game this Saturday. So maybe a full-on just recap of what the hell I do the next week game-wise. And I'm working on a second project to potentially launch pretty soon.
Okay, I think for the vlog, I need like 20 minutes of you, camera right here, right in front of you, just eating nachos while the game's going
Well, I can
on.
give you some food. I'll do it. Shit, you're gonna be some food reviews.
You know,
Oh,
just
yeah.
the
full
whole
on
time.
eating.
I need the whole time. I
That-
think
that-
that's the type of content that I need.
I'll make a TikTok.
What stadium are you going to?
Bush.
Kaufman or Bush?
Bush.
Okay.
That's a
Mets
Cardinal.
play.
Do you
Yeah.
do you heckle
Oh,
when
you're
you
going to
go
the
to
Mets and Cardinals game. Okay.
No, I'm not. No, I just go. I only check all the people that are drunk and chanting "Yankees suck" when they have nothing to do with in this game. That's the only heckling I do.
They do that in St. Louis?
Tackles a few.
No, but the
kids,
Mets
though.
fans do it, and even when like it's Mets Cardinals, Yankees like shut the fuck up. Like who cares?
In my opinion, the Cardinals have like the best fans. They're so chill.
They
They sell out a lot. I've heard. Like,
The
they do good
Yankees
at
suck
that.
chants are always started by the drunk ones. It's
course.
always the drunk ones. It's
Go to
always
the
the
AA
guys
meeting.
blitzed
Do that
out of
at the
their
AA meeting.
mind.
Yeah.
I
Zach
went to a Red
Scotted
Sox
out of
game,
their
we started one.
mind.
Do we want a segment dedicated to how Marcus Stroman is doing? Is that
Oh.
worthy of a segment?
Yeah.
Hey, God got him.
Hey,
About how big the
God
big
got
guy
him.
made?
Okay,
God got
There's
him.
a
God
dud of the week.
absolutely got me.
Carson with the tweet of the century,
Dude.
yesterday. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this will be funny. Why not?
got
He did
good-
get unlucky though, so I might have to take that away. But
9
no,
ERA,
there was
that-
this one guy who said, he said you should have put it in quotes so people say that you, and I responded back to him. I said, no, I actually did say that, and I mean it. God actually always got me. I'll go to
Thankful
Frank
to get
if
out
you
of that
want
organization.
to. Who's starting Saturday?
TBD.
TBA.
gonna be Trevor
I'm
Williams.
guessing Trevor
TBA.
Williams. I'm guessing.
TBA. So Corey Oswald. Nice.
And it was funny
All
that
right.
Arizona actually has TBA also for Saturday. So
Yeah, it's like with the
That's gonna
Humberto
be,
dude,
yeah,
yeah.
We'll
that's gonna
see.
be a fun
We
one.
still got the options, so we'll see. Frank, you can close out.
Yeah, probably join Andrew on a stream tomorrow. Why not? 9:40 game. It's a Friday, so why not? Maybe you get some Mets Weekly after dark.
Oh boy.
You better be very careful. But maybe something like that for tomorrow, and then some more stuff planned. But that's pretty much it.
Mets Weekly gone too soon after 51 episodes. Elias, you can close your stuff out.
Yep, big up Banter Media. Check it out. Like I said, April report card. Try to get that out. Maybe do some Jets draft stuff. We'll see. Kayvon Thibodeau, rooting for it.
They need a quarterback, to be honest.
Good one.
See, I don't have to stress. Raiders don't have
Yeah,
any
but
picks.
Don't have
I'm
any
just
picks.
chilling.
Yeah.
I don't need to see
You
them
don't- They,
whiff
they
on
can't reach this
anything.
year.
I'm just chilling. I mean, they might trade up, but who knows?
And Green Bay drafts a godly tier Hall of Fame player the Raiders pick. That's what's definitely happening.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the Packers, so we'll see. Hayden, you can close out.
Yeah, Mets Talk with Hayden is the name. I want to say raging is the game, but I haven't really been raging much, so that's good. Hopefully, we'll keep it that way. Mets want to secure my sanity, so that should be good. But yeah, if you guys want to check me out, that'd be very much appreciated. Mets Talk with Hayden. Been doing a lot of live streams, recapping all the games, previewing all the games. Doing really well on that. Definitely, breaking out to a lot of non-Met stuff. I know Andrew would have liked, and in my show, we're talking about Bobby Wood Jr. for like half of it, so that was pretty cool. So definitely want to start talking more about that because it's awesome. I mean, I love the Mets, but it's awesome talking about non-Met stuff. So that should be coming this summer. Very busy. I'll be going to Tigers game, Cubs game, 2 Cubs games, and a Reds game. So more to hear from that.
Blog. Next blog with
possibly.
Hayden.
And then definitely possibly a Marlins and Nationals game next month, and a Marlins and Mets game in the future. So very busy summer. I don't know if you guys just saw, but my boy Jazz Chisholm Jr. pimped a home run, Ken Griffey Jr. style. Yeah, Frank knows what's up. But
that was 10 points. This is more than that. It was 2 on Homer. So I saw it.
yeah. So yeah, feel free to check me out. LFGM. Let's get the W, the sweep in Arizona. LFGM. And then deport and exile James McCann. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
What is it?
I will. There is a specific day that there can be a redemption made this weekend or this week. From a certain first baseman, there is a potential redemption opportunity, if I can say words right. So maybe there might be a picture on my Twitter, either Monday, more likely Tuesday. Say Tuesday, a redemption could be had. I'll leave it at that.
Aren't you and Palka good though?
I know me and Polka are chill, but there's a redemption
Okay.
to be made potentially.
We'll see. The suspense will kill me, but yeah. I think I just have some random thoughts, like the Yankees getting screwed out, and instant karma today. That was hilarious. Respect your legends. The Yankees can go fuck themselves. That was awesome. Especially that it was just the crappiest hit ever. Loved it. That was awesome. And other than that, I don't even know what the hell I'll be coming out with. I probably will never. I think I might just delete my channel and, leave forever.
Do Twitter a favor.
But anyways, hey, All right. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week. The team is red hot. We got to keep on winning, keep it going. It's a long season. Make sure to follow all of us on Twitter. Subscribe to all of our channels individually. Share the stream, like the stream, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to all the channels, do all of that stuff. Join our Discord, all of everything. LFGM all. We'll see you guys next week.